Chapter 6. Bird Brain. "Run!" Melody screamed and darted for the door along with her friends. They collided before they could squeeze through, and Lisa went sprawling across the floor. Howie tripped over her and landed with a thump. "Ouch!" Lisa cried. "You hurt my leg." "Peg leg! Peg leg!" Long-tongued Jack crowed. "I'd like to give you a peg leg, you bird brain," Eddie hissed at the bird. Long-tongued Jack flapped across the room and landed right on Eddie's curly red hair. "Squawk! Bird brain! Bird brain!" "Cut that out!" Eddie shook his head, and Jack flew to his bird perch. Melody giggled. "It looks like Jack knows who has a bird brain." Howie sat up and rubbed his elbow. "Shh! Teach must be nearby. We have to get out of here before it's too late." The four kids peeked out the door. The trail was clear, so they silently slipped out of the cabin. They were sneaking down the trail when a sound from behind a huge oak stopped them dead in their tracks. "What might you scalawags be up to? You should be down by the campfire," Teach grumbled in his raspy voice. The four kids turned to face Teach. Howie shoved the green sunglasses case deeper into his pocket, and Lisa squeezed behind Eddie and Melody. "We're just out exploring the woods," Melody stammered. "Admiring the plants and stuff," Eddie added. "Hardy har har," laughed Teach. "Then you found my favorite wildflower in these woods." Teach pointed to a group of flowers that were nearly as tall as the kids. "See how those bright orange blossoms hang around the stem like a necklace on a lady's neck?" Teach asked. "They shimmer like gold. Aye, these be my favorite flower in the woods. But they have a secret, too." "What?" Lisa asked. "Come closer," Teach said. "I'll show you." The four kids inched closer to Teach as he held up a stem with the dangling orange flowers. "Do you see the green jewel? It hangs beneath the blossom." Teach pointed to a small seed pod. "Go ahead, touch it." When Lisa reached out and tapped the pod, the seeds exploded against her nose. "Wow, that's neat," Eddie laughed, and reached over to tap a few seed pods himself. "An atom bomb flower." "What's it called?" Howie asked. "Some call it jewel weed," Teach said with a smile, "but others have another name for it. The same thing that Molly the Red said about her very own treasure of riches." "What?" the four campers asked. "Touch me not," Teach said. Then he squeezed a dangling pod and sent a seed pinging against Eddie's forehead. "Squawk! Touch me not! Touch me not!" Long-tongued Jack called from the nearby tree. Teach winked at the campers before him. "Aye, 'tis best not to touch the jewels of pirates, but the jewel weed is a jewel of nature, here for us all to enjoy." Then Teach began to laugh. Only this time, his laughter sent cold chills racing up the four kids' backs. "We'd better get back to camp," Melody said as she backed away from Teach. "Aye," Teach nodded. "Ye best not be trotting back to the others before they think something bad has befallen you." The four kids left Teach standing next to the clump of jewel weed and hurried to the campfire. All the other kids were roasting marshmallows and listening to Coach Ellison talk about wildflowers. Howie, Melody, Lisa, and Eddie huddled near a huge maple tree. "Now do you believe Teach is a pirate?" Melody asked Eddie. Howie nodded. "He's here at Camp Lone Wolf to find Molly the Red's treasure." "And he knows we have the map. That's why he was warning us against touching the treasure," Lisa whimpered. Eddie shrugged. Teach is here to help us win that race against Sheldon, and the only treasure around here is buried in a box of Cracker Jack. He was just showing us a flower in the woods. Howie shook his head. I'm not so sure. If the legend about Molly the Red is true, then her treasure is buried on the shores of Red River here at Camp Lone Wolf. Eddie pointed to the run-down cabins. If there was a treasure here, Mr. Jenkins would have castles instead of those rat traps. Exactly, Lisa blurted. If we could help find that treasure, we could help Mr. Jenkins save the camp and all these huge old trees. There is no treasure, Eddie told her, and I can prove it. How? Melody asked. Eddie held out his hand. Give me the case. I'll prove that Teach is just a boat instructor because I'll prove there's no treasure. How can you find it if Teach can't? Howie asked, handing the case to Eddie. Eddie stuffed the case and map into his back pocket. Captain Teach doesn't know this place like we do. Besides, he couldn't find it because there isn't a treasure. What if Teach figures out you have the map? Lisa asked. You could be in great danger. He won't find out, Eddie bragged. Then he glared at each of his friends. Not unless you tell him. We won't tell, they all said together, but none of them noticed the brightly colored bird perched in the tree above them.